Alright. Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
No, I'm not. Stop trying to make me listen, David. Hello? Who are you?
Who's this man?
Nice.
You muted.
Nice.
If it makes you feel any
Brilliant.
better.
Hello.
I got a recording of it.
Brilliant. I heard you.
Oh, that was amazing.
Windows updates can
Go suck a dick.
no. Sucking a dick is something that a lot of people enjoy, and is something that's completely okay. What Windows should do is go deep throat a cactus.
There you go.
Ow.
Ow.
That would really hurt.
Yes.
I would.
Yes. I choose to insult
So
people
you're substituting
with
one
pain.
prick in your mouth for another prick in your mouth.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
It's a different species. Of
Well,
prick.
you know, I already forced these fine gentlemen to listen to my intro, so you know what? The rest of you can be saved from it for this week.
Yeah, if you do it again, I'm getting my mom's joke book out. And tell you what, that joke's about as funny as Auschwitz.
Oh,
It's not.
no.
It's not.
I thought it wasn't me that said that this week.
Yeah.
And that's all for Relay Station. Thank you for joining us. You may never again.
Hey everyone, I've been gone for like 3 weeks, so while I was gone, Nakara covered for me. Thank you so much for covering for me.
Wait, I was supposed to cover for you?
I sure hope you did, because... okay. Let's, I don't even know where to put things anymore. It's been so long.
Just push it on the floor. That's what I do. Once the desk gets full, I was just like, I need to put something. I just push it onto the floor. And then when the floor gets clean, you just get a new house. Just buy a new house.
Just buy a house with like 30-foot ceilings, and then every time the floor is filled, just re-cement it and re-cement it.
Just
and
yeah,
re-cement it.
just pick the desk up.
Yeah.
Another 3 meters and just let the trash.
Where the
Fine.
dead hookers?
Basement.
Basement.
Okay.
Freezer, obviously. Okay, let's talk Star Citizen.
What's that?
What's that? Yeah, what's Star Citizen?
I don't know.
What
Did
is
you
Star
give Flint
Citizen?
Dragon
anymore?
as well?
No. Oh shoot, I didn't. Basically, what Star Citizen is, Star Citizen is dead to me, and I will.
That's mean, David.
And me too. Okay, they hurt me. They
No.
hurt me physically this week.
I'm gonna show you all something that is disgusting. It's terrible, and it makes me firmly believe that Star Citizen is vaporware. Confirmed 100%.
Is this the screenshot I sent you?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
If you take closely at the look at the screen,
I have to look really close, by the way, at the screen to see that. You may want to make that.
Oh, dear Lord.
There you go.
I mean,
Ship shape breaks out on it is own.
come on, vaporware, complete and utter.
Typist.
I'm just we're changing this show. We're now going to start talking about we're going to be a we're going to be a Fortnite podcast.
And our lives were just ruined.
Fortnite only. So how do you guys like the
I have no idea how
Forts.
Fortnite became a big thing. Everyone
It's so bad.
children.
I hate it.
I was playing
Children.
PUBG, and people are like, "Fortnite's awesome," and I went and played it, and I'm like, "This is garbage. I'm going back to PUBG."
Yeah.
And that's basically.
No,
I-
Nelson-
okay, so I have a 10-year-old nephew. He loves Fortnite like to death. Like,
I'm
oh my,
sure he does.
it's like mixing Minecraft
He's
with
the-
guns.
He's the perfect target audience. I am not.
One, Star Helix, the co-op mode is great, but you still have to pay for it. So none of my friends have paid for it because they're cheap bastards.
Yeah.
But Nelson, yes, we should talk Mountain Blade instead of Star Citizen because Mountain Blade ruins lives.
I tried playing it for all of 3 minutes and I gave up.
I think I put 2,000 hours into Warband.
Wow, that's more than a few hours.
That's
We
more
could
than, that's
be-
more than me.
We could be a Rocket League podcast. I
Oh,
mean,
there you go.
You know
all
what I
of us
think-
have
you know, no.
probably played Rocket League.
You know what I
so-
think we should
Fuck
be?
you
I think
all,
we should
we're going to
be
be a City Skylines podcast.
Oh,
excellent.
there we go.
No,
You mean traffic management podcast? that's where every time I play City Skyline, that's where it's like I got some asshole trying to merge across 3 lanes of traffic, and then you have all these trucks being stopped by this one guy, and it's just like I have to delete the intersection now because that's the only way.
I have to
lose.
nuke the city
You
now.
put in
That's
this-
the only way to
You put
solve
in this fucking miles and miles long freeway or whatever with 12 lanes, and then every twat just uses the first lane. And you have
Exactly.
this huge traffic jam, and you're like, the fuck?
It's like just you eventually just build a city that everyone just walks everywhere and it solves all your problems.
I think we
There you go.
should.
Subways and buses. That's all that's allowed in the city anymore.
I think what
No
we
one can-
should
owning
be-
cars is illegal.
I think what we should be is a space podcast. So, Nakara, do you have anything to talk about space this week?
Yes, I do.
AC
No
Vertigo,
Man's
what's
Sky.
up?
Oh man, No Man's
Oh.
Sky, 24th. New
Yeah.
patch. And Space Engineers they're testing a new patch as well.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Space
Space
Engineers
Engineers
is a neat game. By the way, Space Engineers was the actually the first game to do the
Planetary landing.
No, the 64-bit
Oh yeah. Precision?
Floating point.
precision. Thank you. That's
Whatever it is.
64-bit floating point to create the gigantic universe. They have somewhat less fidelity.
Yes,
than
but hey,
Star
you know,
Citizen, but it's still very impressive.
it's a little indie development studio. They they don't have 500 people.
I mean,
Yeah,
technically, CIG is also an indie studio. They are independent.
technically,
They
yeah.
are not publisher run
Oh,
or
man.
supported. So technically, it's just they're
Technically.
not a little indie studio.
I would
They
say
are,
they're their own
huge
publisher.
indie studio.
I would say they're a self-publisher by now. Once you get to a certain size, we have to say that they're their own publisher.
I counter that with, what have they published?
They publish Hyper
Arena-
Vanguard Force.
Hyper Vanguard
They
Force.
publish Hyper Vanguard Force. They also
Hey,
have
there
the
you
new
go, Hyper-
Touche.
I mean, that was a high quality game.
They have a bunch of web games, web-based
Yeah, they have a
browser
bunch of
games.
web games.
Those were
should
popular in
totally-
the 90s.
They should totally port all those to mobile and make like billions of dollars.
Same with like Star Marine. They can make a Fortnite version of Star Marine, popular with the kids.
I think no. I think that's actually something we should talk about quickly because
Okay,
I think didn't
fire away.
Astropub throw some tweets out or someone in the community, I can't even remember who, but suggesting that CIG do make
Arena Commander.
Marine Commander and Star Marine free
There
to
you
play.
yes. I completely agree with that. I think it's but it may be a longer term thing. They have to refine if they're going to do that. They have to refine the shit out of them. But I think that's the way to go long term because then you could bring in a lot of players. So I think it's
It would rustle my jimmies endlessly if Arena Commander and Star Marine got more focus this year. I did not pledge. I did not pledge
No.
for
I
Star
think-
Marine or Arena Commander.
Well, what they were talking about was forming a separate like small development team for those games
Mhm.
that just like 3 or
And
4.
where would the money for that? Where would the resources for that small development team come from?
It would probably come
My pledge
from,
money.
From Chris Roberts' investment in medical cannabis.
Medical cannabis. There you go.
You know what? I think that what they should do is like they are putting a lot of work into the space like the ship combat and the ground combat for the PU. A small team, 10 people or something, taking what's done for the PU and porting it over to making sure it works well in Arena Commander and Star Marine, I'd be completely okay with that. And then putting Star Marine free to play and Arena Commander free to play, because when they do normally do free flies every
Free fries. I make that mistake
free
too,
fries,
by the way.
yeah.
Free fries.
Free fries.
I make that same mistake.
There, that's your promotion. CIG free fries with the purpose of
Purpose
every porpoise for
$300 or more.
Someone get in an Apollo. Erris is having a stroke.
I apologize.
Free fries with every porpoise of every $300 or more.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so you tried to lead into me talking about
SpaceX. I did. I swear I did.
Just
like
talk about SpaceX. Save us.
Okay.
Save us.
So, all
Save
right.
us, Takara. You're our only hope.
I just announced it on our Discord, but I'm going to be covering the SpaceX launch tonight. It is especially notable for like 18 reasons. It will be the heaviest commercial communication satellite ever launched, period, by anyone. By the way, this is a satellite for a Canadian company called Telesat. And that launch will be very late tonight. The launch window starts at 10:50 p.m. Pacific time, which is 1:50 in the morning Eastern time.
Fun factoid for you, Nakara.
Yeah, what's up?
Mrs. Erris's father worked for Telesat.
Oh, cool.
Helping launch the satellites.
That's awesome.
Yes. Sorry, carry on.
And the launch window is 4 hours long. I am desperately hoping they hit the beginning of the launch window for obvious reasons. I will begin streaming at 10 p.m. Pacific time or 1 a.m. Eastern time tonight on this channel. And we're going to watch a SpaceX launch.
Or fall asleep to one.
This is the second launch of the Block 5 Falcon 9, which looks quite different. It's got the black legs, black interstage, and the titanium grid fins. So it's more of a zebra than the old white rocket. Also, they're going to try and land this thing. The heaviest satellite they've ever launched where they've tried to land the first stage is just under 5,300 kilograms. And this one is 7,075 kilograms. That's a really big difference for those of you listening out there.
For those of you who can number.
Ambition.
So we might also see a gigantic explosion. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
They do have the drone ship out at sea already, and so they're going to try and catch the falling rocket with that guy.
Are they going to try and catch the fairings?
Night. Not with this flight, but there's one coming up literally they're also launching on Wednesday. So like three or 4 days from now. On that one, they will be trying to catch the fairing with their brand new gigantic fairing catcher. That they they retrofitted Mr. Steven with a net that's 4 times larger than the old net. It's amazing looking.
Is that the name of the boat, Mr. Stevens?
Yep. The name of the boat is
McNetface.
No.
Bodie McBoatface. They didn't accept that one.
No, they went with fun
Catchface.
names, like "Of Course I Still Love You."
Yes.
Of course, I still love you.
That's
Drone
actually
ship.
the name of the drone ship that's catching the rocket tonight.
Yep.
Called "Of Course I Still Love You."
So
this
They should
is
name
the,
one Butterfingers.
So this is the new net. I just posted the link in the chat, and this is the old one. I will post that link in just a moment. Just trying to find a good picture. There's a good picture. It is quite drastically larger. It actually looks quite ridiculous. And
Looks like it would be fun for bouncing on.
Yeah,
at least.
very. But so that one's coming up on the 25th. That will be the Iridium 7 launch, and it will also be at night. And all the rest of their ones this summer are all at night. In fact, most of them are in the middle of the night, so that's fun. Actually, that will be an interesting one because they're going to be trying to catch the fairing in the dark. So
Are there people on this boat, or is this boat automated? That's fucking scary. Like, you just see this huge thing coming down, you're like, don't fucking sink. Don't fucking sink.
Well, here's the deal. It is actually illegal to have any boat unmanned other than a barge, which is why the drone ships are barges. And here's the really fun part, and one of the things that sketches me out about Blue Origin's plans. Blue Origin is not going to use a barge to land their rocket. They're going to be using a ship, which has people on it, to try and land their rocket. I'm not sure if you've watched the early attempts of SpaceX trying to land, but most of them were giant fireballs.
Yeah, yes. I think so, though.
So it's going to be very interesting to watch Blue Origin's initial attempts, because wow.
Might as well just land it in the water at that rate. Just recover it. Just put floaties on the damn thing.
That doesn't work, unfortunately. NASA found that out. NASA found that out like 40 years ago. They're like, you know what we'll do? We'll land them in the ocean and then we'll refurbish them. Oh,
corrosion.
That
salt
work at all.
Sucks. Okay, so I want to get us. I want to get
Star
us to
Citizen.
show and tell momentarily, but first, HC Vertigo. I've got a question or two for you. Also, I love the green mug. It's perfect.
Also, Marius, yes, this is part of net neutrality.
So, HC Vertigo, you were telling us a little bit earlier while we were waiting to start that there was some large hullabaloo happening this morning in Star Citizen. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, I was attempting, but I had other commitments today. I had this podcast we arranged for me to be on. I was attempting to take part in the Star Citizen Battle Royale, which is a 25 versus 25 battle for Security Post Karaya, happening right now, I still believe. Unfortunately, Star Citizen is in a state where large battles like this is very tedious to set up, a bit like herding cats. Everybody has to get invited onto the friends list of one person, and then you have to launch into an instance, and then you have to not crash out of that instance, and then you have to have your ships whole, not missing doors and seats and missiles and guns and stuff like that. And and the shops, because it's 3.2, the shops have to have guns and armor for if people aren't PvP players, like if they're cargo haulers or miners, they don't usually buy guns because they don't need to shoot people. They need to go buy guns and armor, but there's none in the store because someone robbed the place. Or some people are in Grim Hex and they have to come all the way over from Grim Hex or Levski because that's where they last logged out. And then the server crashes at 30,000. And 3 hours goes by and you're finally ready to start operations. Oh, I got a podcast in 10 minutes. Sorry, guys. It's literally 3 hours. I go look at my VODs right now. We spent probably about 2.5, 3 hours just trying to get to the point where we're almost ready to start playing. And that was a group of streamers, people who can be punctual, who are organized, who know when to shut the fuck up in Discord instead of screeching at each other, screeching memes at each other like we were probably used to in World of Warcraft, EVE Online. Pick any voice if anybody has ever tried to play with just a normal organization or guild.
With regular people suck, guys.
Right, regular people. You end up just having people just screeching memes at each other, and it's just like, what the fuck? We gotta do this. We gotta get 40 people. We need a tank. Who's the raid tank for this DC? God damn it! Who's our backup? He's not here. He's not answering his phone. Yeah, I know. But I'm really looking forward to server meshing.
This is why I stick to shooters, because there's none of this. I just shoot people in the face, and
they fall over.
Yeah,
they fall over. I'm starting to appreciate the idea of server meshing more and more these days.
Yeah.
Now that's something we were talking a little bit before the show, and then Kibosh, so that we could talk on the show, because
yes,
there's this thing that we do, and Shiver can attest to this, where we always talk about the best things before the show even starts. We should honestly start pre-recording the show to pre-record the convo stuff, but then we'd have to cut out lots of Shiver's comments, I guess.
Well, You do what they do on the radio, where they have a delay, and then you just dump the broadcast when something bad happens.
I don't know. Shiver does some radio, and
He's well behaved in the
We had a
radio.
great
He is.
Friday night show yesterday.
I'm sorry I missed it. So we were talking a little bit about how now Star Citizen's not quite ready yet. There's issues like you guys were having trying to actually organize something.
I mean, let's shoot straight here, okay? It's an early access. It's not even. I don't even think we can call it early access at this point. Like Chris Roberts is Prince Roberts. I didn't say Chris Roberts. Free flies with every purpose of $3 more. Prince Roberts. Okay, so anyways.
Hey, Prince Roberts.
How you doing, Prince Roberts? Everybody enjoy the Relay Crodcast as watched by Prince Roberts.
The Crodcast. Yes.
The Crodcast. All right, so Star Citizen is nowhere near ready to be considered a game. I could still, everybody gets their panties in a bunch when I say tech demo. But it is, to me, it's literally tech plus demo. It is designed to demonstrate the technology they already have, and you can see where they are going with it. You have to remove the rough from the diamond in your mind to kind of see where Star Citizen is going. But there's plenty of people that show up this week that say, wow, that ship looks really cool. You think that ship looks cool? Let me spawn you a reclaimer. And you spend 30 minutes, literally it's a 30-minute tour going through a reclaimer.
Yeah.
Going around the outside, here's the claw. That's gonna work too. You see the landing, you take off. As soon as you take off on the landing pad at All-Star with a reclaimer, everybody just their jaws drop.
Yep.
It's just like go to the outside, spin around, watch the landing gear animation. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite something when the Hammerhead gets in.
I think that Star Citizen is right now it's an alpha. Alphas exist, and normally, I mean,
Honestly,
if you get to most games, well, it's still pre-alpha technically, but most games,
it's
It's a good piece of marketing material.
Yeah, but most games don't even get to like consumer hands to beta. They'll have like a couple betas, right? Star Citizen hasn't hit beta yet.
If you're an EA game,
betas are just demos.
Betas are demos.
You say that, and this is actually something that we have to admit, we've noticed this happening a lot more these days. No Man's Sky launched, 2 years ago now? Mm-hmm. It was not a complete game. Now, next, the update that's launching next week sounds like it might bring it really close to what they had originally promised, but that's 2 years on. Right?
And this is, by the way, this is not a new phenomenon in the PC gaming industry. There's been plenty of games back in 1980s, 1990s where they launched incomplete. But back then, if you wanted to deliver more to your game, you had to put it in a box and put it in a brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
There was plenty of just absolute rip-off bullshit. And there was plenty of exploitive expansion packs back in the day where you would buy a game that was somewhat incomplete and then the expansion would come out and it would make the game better.
It happens. But I want to kind of talk about this year's evolution of tech. Now, let's go into this assuming that we get everything on time. We're going to take it at face value that I know, but
they didn't move anything
out of the
roadmap.
Erris, you crazy.
No, they have been. Let's be frank here, though. This year has been fantastic. The patches have come when they've said early in some cases. Like, they are doing a phenomenal job. This is something that, especially us at Relay, we have been harping on them for years. I think the entire length of Relay's existence and the existence of INN before, we harped on CIG to get this right. Just give us regular content, and they are. So
and that was one of the big parts with 263. They could have gave us maybe a new ship, a couple new weapons, a new map or something. But we had that content drought for 2017, and then 3.0 hits, and it's just, oh my god, really? We're gonna have to put up with this. But if you take the year in aggregate, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, it's actually we've been getting constantly better and better. More content is coming online this year. If they hit all their dates, all their target dates, even if stuff slips to the next patch like 3.0, some of the stuff slips to 3.4. If we get everything this year that's on the development schedule that's scheduled for this year, we're going to have more content and more tech coming online this year than we've had in the past 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Actually, probably
the entire life of the project.
I'm gonna pull out an Elon Musk ism. I'm gonna say that it would be an order of magnitude more content in this year than in all previous years combined.
Yep.
Because if you look at the amount that's coming in with, because believe it or not, ArcCorp is actually in 3-4, so that'll be ArcCorp's moons, Hurston's moons, Crusaders moons.
Basically,
a lot.
So right now, Star Citizen is pretty big right now.
It's about to get a lot bigger.
Yeah, we have more landmass to walk around on than Skyrim.
Yeah,
probably more. So probably more land. I'm gonna go further back. Now, I actually never played this game, but I think this is one of the biggest games that was ever made. Probably more landmass than Daggerfall.
Yep.
Daggerfall was procedurally generated in theory infinite though.
I would.
I think it had a limit to its map. I think it had limits to its map size, but the area around it was procedurally generated. I think it had a limit. There was probably an upper memory limit considering when it was released.
So long ago.
Daggerfall was 161,600 square kilometers. That is nowhere near the size of all of the moons currently in the game.
That's probably close. Like Delamar. That's probably smaller than Delamar.
Now again,
Delamar is probably bigger.
There was stuff to do in Daggerfall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
But let's say
I can mine little rocks on the ground almost anywhere.
Yeah, but let's say we get the tech that's coming in 3.3 and 3.4, especially the server meshing and stuff.
The backend tech is huge. This coming.
Oh yeah.
Patches. Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, it really feels to me like this year is Star Citizen getting the tech necessary to be a game, and maybe next year, and I'm thinking that 2019 is going to be the year of let's make it easier to join parties. Let's make it easier to do this. Let's make it easier and starts becoming almost more verbatim, almost something that people will want to play. It's not just the tech demo. It's not the, let's hop in for a couple. For people that aren't streamers, let's hop in for a couple hours each patch and check it out. But
rather than beta, I think that's when it becomes a true alpha.
Yeah.
Is next year when they have most of the underlying tech done. Now we're never really sure. It seems every year we have this next huge piece of tech they have to build. Hopefully
I think we're getting behind that. I think we're not going to, if Chris Roberts knows what he's doing, and a lot of people throw this complaint at Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts is always ballooning in his ambitions, and there's always more feature bloat. He hasn't been doing that recently. Yeah. They have been really focusing down on delivering the promises they've already made. And
go and watch the RTV with Chris from a couple weeks ago. He was completely different dude in that hour. He's much more I don't know, it seems much more focused on delivering what they have already in the pipeline. This should be noted too. Most of it, because a lot of people are like, well, what if object container streaming slips? First of all, it can't.
They can. No, they can. They can slip object container streaming, but Hurston goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 98% of the patch goes with it. It's basically empty if they
it
don't
is
have
needed for everything.
And what he said is that it will take precedence over every other thing in the patch. Now, most of those tasks are actually, I'm looking at them right now, are almost done and huge. I mean, we're a long way from the 3.3 release now.
Yep.
And network entity streaming completed this week.
Yep.
There's currently there are currently 11 entries in Cortec. We have one done. But most of the other ones relating to object container streaming are about 80% complete.
Now here's the thing. Like I have to drop this on everybody. Keep in mind that CIG is not afraid to drop major updates that need a little bit of work.
Yep.
So when OCS hits, when Hurston hits,
it's going to be a disaster.
You may not like playing that one, but the 3.3.1, 3.3.2, 3.3.3, that may be where everybody's like, okay, now we can do this. Now we can play in this.
In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this goes into PTU earlier than 3.1 or 3.2, just because there's going to be so many bugs with network bind culling and object container streaming.
And a live environment is a completely different animal than a test environment.
One of the things,
found that
Yeah, one of the things Tom Trustworthy saying OCS is priority 1 worries me. All eggs in one basket could mean that all we get is a couple ships in 3-3. The problem with that is without OCS, there isn't anything else that they can add.
Nope. They're the gameplay loops, but we're not going to get all 3 gameplay loops, I guarantee you. Not the fidelity, not the tier 0 fidelity of like the mining gameplay. No. We're not getting that. Not refueling, not salvaging, not repair.
But they can't add anything else to the verse until we get OCS, because there's already too much in there. OCS, I mean, it sucks to say it, but OCS is the most important thing coming.
They could delete a few space stations. They could delete Cryastro and update it with one of the rest stops, but that's all they can do. We are literally at our limit. CIG is very good at pushing the limits of their current technology and getting this cobbling together this Frankenstein's monster of a thing that just shambles kind of sort of towards a game. But this they need OCS if they want to expand the playable area, the actual playable landmass of Star Citizen. Because they can't, they're already up against their limits. If they add any more people, things just start getting more and more unplayable at this point.
I mean, keep in mind, we're up to how many players in a server right now?
50.
And they're last year, what were we at?
20, 30, no,
24. 24.
It's not bad, and that's without OCS and server meshing.
Yeah,
right?
They're stuck right now.
They're stuck, but they have still made improvements, and they're going to continue making improvements pretty much constantly. Now, one thing I do want to mention that I wanted to slip it in a little bit earlier, but something that's really interesting about what we had this week, because we should probably start talking about the Apollo, which you can kind of see on the screen there. New med ship. We're going to talk about it momentarily.
I love the look of this ship.
I'm gonna let this video here play while I mention something. Is with the Apollo, they released the first system design doc that we've had in a long while. They released a little tiny bit of an update on medical. The medical profession. Now, one of the most interesting things that I think, and I like that they're going into depth with it, and I like that they're working on it, but the thing that you have to, this isn't playing right, good, it's not. The most interesting thing about the medical profession is that it's almost unchanged from Death of a Spaceman 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, that Death of a Spaceman document is just ancient. And we've seen a lot of backtracking done by CIG on some of the older promises. Like insurance, that's real time now instead of counting down in game. But they're still holding to that Death of a Spaceman. I think they're really trying to get that to work.
I think that is basically a fundamental part of Chris's idea for the game. Death is basically fundamentally different in Star Citizen than other games. That's especially other MMOs. I mean, can you imagine if you lost your character after you died 5 times in World of Warcraft?
Oh, that's the leveling system of World of Warcraft. That would be just absolutely people would be howling at that. Level 60 character, like a hardcore mode from like Diablo. Well, Diablo 2 had a hardcore mode. I think didn't Diablo 1 have a hardcore mode as well?
Yes. Wait, 1 I don't know.
I can't remember. I don't think it did. I think Diablo 2 was the first one that had hardcore. I think Diablo 2 was the first hardcore mode, and that people were playing. There was a multiplayer ladder for hardcore characters, if I remember from Diablo 2. Yeah. But it was just very select few people who would play hardcore. So I think World of Warcraft could have done it, but you would have to have imagine hardcore, everybody at hardcore server, PvP anywhere, potentially. World of Warcraft.
Here, I gotta love Google. Hardcore mode didn't exist in Diablo 1. It's actually really interesting, which is why I'm actually mentioning it. But their idea for it goes back to Diablo 1 because they originally wanted to make Diablo 1 only hardcore mode.
Really?
Yeah, that was
basically be a roguelike. Be a roguelike game.
Yeah. Where could you imagine how many people would just die at the butcher over and over and over and over again?
That son of a bitch. You were never ready for him, it seemed like.
No. And then I can remember still like the freaking goosebumps in my arms when I first heard the fresh meat. Like, oh my god. Anyway, I was very young at that point. I was like 12.
Oh yeah.
11, 12.
Cheers. Same for me, about.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Star Citizen.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I do wanna cut in here. We've got one question.
They stole our idea.
Yeah, they did.
They stole our idea.
Well, no, because we actually stole the idea from the old Empire Report. Right? Yeah.
No, that was.
I like that. I like that report they did on ATV where they told out, "Hey, this is what the community is doing." I love it. It felt like Wingman's Hangar was coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, here's what's going on in the community. It's kind of goofy. It's silly.
Yeah.
Here's what major things happening.
I mean, Relay hasn't been doing much lately. Let's be honest, they kind of killed ATV. It's down to like 10 minutes a shot now. RTV is really good, but it's long, and they've like spliced shipshape into it this week. Like, we have no idea what's going on with their videos, so we have no idea what our job is anymore.
We're not gonna. I think we should
content aggregation. This is you take what CIG says and you just put it into a text file somewhere,
Yes.
I guess, and you try to condense it a little bit for the average person.
And that's all we do, right? Like that's the main thing of Relay. What I'm doing, this is secondary. But like they've reduced the stuff to transcribed so much that it feels weird almost. But once there's like more stuff in game, once we can start using like the Reliance and stuff in game, I could see us doing stuff like that, reporting on what's going on in the player base. Anyway, I do want to say we've only got one question so far. We're about 15 minutes out from questions.
That's scary, guys. That's a lot of singing.
If you don't ask us some questions, I have to sing.
That's like a whole album. If you like, if we have to sing for like 45 minutes.
I'm gonna sing.
Which album will you choose?
Do some thrash metal.
No, I don't know any thrash metal.
I really want to see you sing thrash metal. Just never heard any thrash metal.
How about jokes? How about jokes? Baby skunk to a mama skunk. Can we have a chemistry set? Mama skunk, what, and smelt the house? That's my mom's joke book. We can have an hour of that.
Yeah, ask us some questions, guys. Or
please ask us some questions, or else.
Please.
That said, we do have a couple more videos here that I want to show. Let me broke them up. I mean,
hey. Korea NPCs.
Yay, Korea NPCs. We can start shooting at something. We have target dummies. Unless they're going to be perfectly accurate.
I didn't like that, actually. I didn't like that. Where was
Terminators.
that? I think it was in RTV this week. Or no, in Calling All Devs. 1 second, let me find it. Calling All Devs. 96% accuracy?
For the turret gunners or something.
Okay, guys, I'm glad that you can get 96% accuracy, but can you tone that down to like 14% accuracy, which is what the average human gets?
Yeah.
Like, that worries me straight up.
Well, that's the Gladius from like 2.6, 2.5. Like, it could literally fire its nose gun 90 degrees to the ship while it's dogfighting and hit every bullet.
But why would you?
Gladiuses were scarier than Cutlasses.
Oh yeah,
300 eyes. Like, I would kill Gladiuses when I saw them in 2.6.3 because if I left them alone, suddenly your shields are gone, your ship's been cut in half.
Yeah, but why would you even? If you can get an AI gunman that has 96% accuracy, I wouldn't fly with any of you bastards. No offense.
Exactly. I think that was the point of that Calling All Devs was like, hey, you're going to be using AI to crew your ship. But, oh, by the way, we're going to make turrets fun for everybody. Why would I have anybody in my turrets then?
Just, like, you can make turrets fun, but if an AI gets 96% accuracy, I'm not putting... You can come on my ship, but you are not allowed in that turret.
No.
Isn't it... I mean, don't you want it to be up to 96%? Because if you buy... if you go up to a hobo NPC and say, "Hey, do you want to be a gunner on my thing?" and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm totally drunk. I'll do that." And he's got 10% accuracy, but the more you use him, the better he gets. And then eventually he gets up to the 96%. Having a stroke again.
Yeah.
Singing Mamma Mia.
There you go.
Hey, thanks, Commander Hellfire.
I think they were just testing how high their accuracy could get, like in a dogfighting scenario.
If that is the case, and if it's like you can buy NPCs that are like from 10% up to 90, good, fine. Let's have ranks of NPCs that are better and worse, but still, the number there still worried me a little bit.
I know. But hey, turrets are fun now in the PTU. We actually had a couple fights of full connies versus full connies in the PTU. It was like cool. You're just passing each other, and you watch your laser beams from each connie fly across each other. Almost to the point where if you're flying the connie when going to third person, just to watch all the cool shit happening.
They said this
was like, I don't want to play the game. I just want to watch this shit.
No, they said this was partially like adding some more stabilization, some yaw and pitch stabilization, but also adding a tiny bit of auto aim, right?
It's very disorienting right now, the auto aim they have. It gets to the point where you have a hot zone somewhere in front of the enemy ship that you have to look at. You have to point the turret at that hot zone, then it snaps everything. Your view, your aiming reticle, everything just snaps to the perfect shot. And you're required to keep your aim in that imaginary hot zone while you're tracking while your pilot's doing these dogfighting maneuvers. And if you break out of that hot zone, it snaps your aim back. So what happens is you just end up with this, just a space earthquake. It just gets so disorienting. I'm not kidding. Everything just starts shaking on the enemy ship. Jesus. And it's just like, stop it.
Commander Hellfire, okay, when you're on Percocets and saw Erris do that, I just spit my Dr. Pepper all over my 43-inch monitor. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm sorry. But, no, do you think that auto aim, that little bit of auto aim, you're saying that there's like a sweet spot that you have to sit in?
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking for a long time that because one of the components on ships is like not on ships, but on weapons is the targeting computer. Do you think that a better targeting computer should increase that little sweet spot? Is that something they can use the targeting computers for?
Here's the thing about the problem with Star Citizen, right? The very core fundamental problem with the flight combat. Flight itself. Okay, let's remove combat for a little bit. Flight itself in Star Citizen is actually fun. As long as you're landing on planets, mining, cargo, tourism, just taking snapshots with your phone or something, flying around taking screenshots for Reddit. If that's all you're doing, no problem. If you actually want to engage in ship-to-ship combat with the current flight model, the 6 degrees of freedom is what I consider the flight model. Everything's too squirrely. Now, you can either slow everything down, go to descent speed of combat. If everyone played the Descent games, Descent was actually really slow. If you go back and play the first Descent, most of the enemy ships, they don't move around that much. And actually the ships themselves as you fly is actually very slow. You either need to slow everything down so the average person can actually compete. There's actually some really good pilots out there that can actually turn off the enhanced stick precision, and they can actually land hits regularly. It's scary to fight against some of these guys, how good they are, even with the broken assist. But ESP, essentially, for those of you who don't know what ESP is, ESP stands for Enhanced Stick Precision. It's essentially just an auto aim that has a couple extra layers to it that makes it not an auto aim. So what ESP does, and I read the design document, what ESP does, it has an auto aim running underneath that figures out where it needs to put your ship to get your perfect shot, to actually get the shot to connect with the enemy ship that you're targeting. Targeting an enemy ship, that's the first step for ESP. That turns it on. And then it starts figuring out where you need to put the nose of your ship, what control inputs you need to put in to put the nose of your ship over the perfect spot to get the perfect shot. And then it compares those control inputs that the computer has figured out with your actual control inputs, and then it blends the two together. So it kind of sucks you into that shot. That's what it's supposed to do. That is required if you're using fixed guns in Star Citizen. So either you slow everything down or you do what they do now and just give everybody auto aim, kind of like Elite Dangerous, the gimbals. Everybody points to that. So in my opinion, either you give everybody just a tiny little aim assist that just kind of You know, what other games do is they either make the bullets bigger, they give you a little bit of bullet magnetism, so your bullet curves towards your target, or you just give auto aim, so your aiming reticle just jumps to the spot to get the perfect shot.
But if someone's using mouse and keyboard, they've already got an advantage over someone using HOTAS, and I don't think they need an auto aim. So,
I mean, what you could.
Well, one thing that they could do is make that be sort of targeting computer dependent, right? Yeah. You can get like more hefty targeting computers for the HOTAS users that add a little bit more auto aim, help the ESP.
That's not controller parity.
Or here's another thing you can do.
No.
No, you're never going to get it, but you can at least try.
Well, you do try. You allow like better auto aim from the targeting computer, but they require more power. Or like this, like there's trade-offs to. You have trade-offs built into the system somehow. But I mean, I love the idea of controller parity. I love the idea of like, yeah, I'll face off against someone on a console controller when I've got my mouse and keyboard in an FPS game. Yeah, sure. I mean, Fortnite now has mobile, right? Yeah, I'll play someone on mobile when I've got a mouse and keyboard. Or what people are doing now is they're emulating mobile on their PC because the mobile already has auto aim, and then they've got even more auto aim. Like, you cannot get controller parity. It is literally impossible.
So here's the one idea I've had. Like,
nobody's talking about my beloved Xbox controller
because it's a piece of crap for Star Citizen.
If you're flying a cargo ship,
anything.
If you're flying a cargo ship, is as good as anything. But here's my idea: like, you can actually add auto aim to everything. Just instead of mouse and keyboard aiming the gimbals, mouse and keyboards just aims the ship, and then if you have gimbals, they just have a larger hotbox for auto aim. Your guns are weaker, but you have, your auto aim is much steeper, so you can actually be, steeper angles before your weapons stop tracking with gimbals. Like that's an option. Like CIG is putting. I want to see what a lot of the problems we're having right now is just network and engine problems with ESP.
Yeah.
The math is just so.
I would love it. I would love to see how it works when everything's running smoothly.
Yes, exactly. When we don't have so many server errors, we don't have so much. The desync is there. If you try to engage, when you first get into a fresh server and you go to engage an AI, everything feels like it works perfully. Like 2 hours in, like the ESP is pulling you in the, yeah. 2 hours into your gaming session, not into engaging the single AI target. But if you, 2 hours in, 2 hours into your gaming session, the AI breaks and just sits in place. But if you go to activate your ESP on that stationary NPC, it just drags you off into space somewhere else.
Then again, I have to say that's kind of what combat in 2.0 or 3.0 felt like. It was like, I'm gonna spend 3 hours trying to land a single hit on this damn ship, and I can't. And
that's not fun. That's tedious. That 3.0 combat literally made me tired. It hurt my shoulder, it hurt my wrist, it hurt my elbow, throwing my joystick around on my desk.
Okay.
That's not fun.
I really want to get us through a couple more things that they talked about this week.
Hang on.
Go.
What joystick are you using out of curiosity?
The Thrustmaster T1600M. It's the green model.
You shouldn't be suffering any pain from using something like that. If you sat there and said, I use the Warthog, then like, all right, that's going to hurt. But the T16000's got lovely movement on it. You should be able to play for hours.
Well,
I have the Cytec X56 Rhino, which is the last thing that they produced before they went bankrupt. It's a pile of shit.
And this is, by the way, this is the green model. This has the lighter springs in it too. The orange model has heavier springs. So I think I just have joint problems. I was a mechanic for 10 years, and I actually washed out. My right wrist is actually developing RSI in it. That's why I switched from right to left hand this year.
You have Robert Space Industries in your ankle, or you're in your
that
wrist?
Is impressive.
My wrist. Wanker's cramp, I believe it's called in
It is.
So the procedural tools. They keep working on these procedural tools. They keep upgrading them. They've actually switched over to C++ instead of Python, which helps for procedural stuff, which is great. Hey, CitizenCon, it's happening. Go there, meet us. We'll be there. You should say hi.
Yeah, we are going to be there.
The props, as always, look stupid good. Yeah, I don't...
Wait, there are props?
Like, the props in Star Citizen, they look really good. And,
yes, they do.
Then there's the Apollo.
Oh, yes, that video, yes. They do look... And the Apollo looks so good. I love it. I love how much it looks like a little tiny constellation.
How do you guys feel about the 3 tiers of, like, medical treatment? The tier 3 being, it'll heal your basic cuts and wounds.
Medipen. Tier 3 is Medipen. Tier 2 is probably like Cutlass Red or Apollo, yeah. And tier 1 is like you need a fucking hospital.
No, they confirmed today Cutlass Red only has 1 bed, and it is a tier 3 bed. That bed will heal your cuts and wounds and will stabilize you until they can get you to an Apollo and an Endeavor or something else. But it won't heal, like... I think they were saying that there's like 3 different types of wounds. So there's hurt, damaged, and destroyed. It will not heal damaged or destroyed. It will only heal hurt.
Basically, preserving your tune, your avatar. That's what the Cutlass is for, until you can get to a medical station.
Exactly. What do you guys think of that? This is the first the first info in years we've had on medical, which I think is going to be...
I'm excited for.
It's going to be a huge...
No, go ahead.
It's going to be a huge... That's where I stopped because I couldn't remember.
It's a huge portion of Star Citizen. If you were like me and you want to be somebody boots on the ground, medical gameplay should be the first thing in your fucking mind, because you are going to take bullets. You need to know what's going to happen to your avatar in combat when you take bullets. I don't care about my avatar. I'm just going to make a crazy face for my dude. And if that dude dies, I don't give a shit. I'll just make another guy.
Thanks,
what I care about is what happens in that fight. The minute-to-minute gameplay. If my character loses a leg and I go down, can I still contribute to that fight? Can I contribute to my organization and their goals in that firefight, or am I just out altogether? What happens to me if I get critically injured and I go down? What does my organization have to do to make sure that I can still contribute positively to that combat experience?
And if you're, I like the idea of, if your org has an Apollo, like in the back of your combat, you could spawn back there, possibly. Or it can
I really like the now tactical thoughts that that people are having.
Yeah,
you just had. Like it's no longer, I'll just send a load of Marines down, and if they die, fuck them, they'll be spawned somewhere. You can now think to yourself, all right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an Endeavor hidden away behind this moon over here. I'm going to have an Apollo in between shuttling them, and I'm going to have a Cutlass Red down on the ground so I can do this troop invasion. It's like, well, fuck, this guy's done. Give this guy covering fire, get the drones out there, get him onto the Cutlass, stabilize him. Once he's on the Cutlass, kick him out the airlock, chuck him into the Apollo. The Apollo can get him, give a bit of sellotape or something on his stump of an arm, and then chuck him in the Endeavor where they can put this limb on there, throw him back out into the grind and say, go and fucking kill someone or come back without a leg.
And one of the things that's important, I think, is we all know how long it takes to get from area to area in Star Citizen, right? All we've got right now is a very small piece of Star Citizen, and it still takes forever to get from one place to another. Now,
it doesn't take forever. It takes a few seconds. Come on.
Well, getting out of Levski. You spawn into Levski, you want to head over to Selen. So you spawn into Levski, you have to wait for the half century to go through your wake up animation.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant the actual quantum time.
No. The quantum time's not bad, but it's everything else. You gotta wait. You gotta get a ship. You gotta run to your ship, get in it, take off, get out of the armistice. Like it takes a while to get somewhere.
Get out of For example, my to summarize it for those of you who don't play. You have to log in, get out of your bed. That takes a while. You have to get up out of your bed, get out of your room, walk down the hallway, go to the ASOP terminal at Levski, call a ship, walk into an elevator, ride an elevator up to your ship, get into your ship, turn your ship on, ask for landing clearance, wait for the doors to open, take off, turn your landing gear off, point up, burn for orbit, And then when you're out of the atmosphere, then you can activate your quantum system. You have to align to the point. Oh, wait a minute, it's on the other side of the moon, so I have to quantum around the moon. But before I can quantum, I have to spool and calibrate. Then I can jump. Then I can jump to Crusader. And then, I've been interdicted. Oh, hold on, let me burn out of this. Okay, I'm out of this. Jump again. Nope, I've been quantum interdicted. Oh, God, they have a quantum jammer. Now I'm in a combat. I have to kill the quantum jammer. Then I can jump to Crusader. I've been interdicted again. Let's burn out of this. Okay, jump to Crusader. Then, cut the quantum drives. Okay, jump to Cellin.
Damn it, I need the toilet. I should have had that coffee.
And that's just... hold up, though. That's just around Crusader. That's not even one system, much less a battle that you're trying to get into 4 systems over. Because your org is 4 systems over from your, respawn point. Your org wants an endeavor there.
Yeah.
Right?
Question.
And that's my example.
Stanton right now, because they've got to put everything in when the actual thing is released. You'll have the same ship, but it's going to be the same. It's going to be spread out over much faster differences. So you're not going to have to do necessarily. You're not going to get interdicted several times just on the way to the moon, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. My example, by the way, assumes you don't encounter any bugs along the way. My favorite one is the ships missing the doors, and then you have to claim all your ships in your list, and then you have to wait for the insurance.
But so it's the whole idea of the medical stuff is really going to be really important for large org gameplay. Of we're trying to take this planet, we're trying to take this area. We need our people to respawn in orbit, not 3 systems away. Anyway,
exactly.
I want to say, first of all, thanks as always to Erris for providing all of the videos and the images. They're awesome. He does a lot of work. And now, thanks in large part, I believe, to HC Vertigo, your thread of reading jokes. We have a lot of questions, so let's get to them.
I want to comment on one thing before we go to questions.
Okay, go.
Just because I thought it was interesting. So I've been poking around the medical shipyard post. I thought this was really interesting. One of the possible mission types for a medical ship is even identifying bodies and body parts to try and solve crimes and mysteries and stuff.
I like that.
I think that's really cool.
Anyway, well, can I put out something real quick on there, a little some dark humor. I loved how the mission types are actually kind of the missions don't fail. They just change the types of missions. So if you go to a rescue and you fuck the rescue up, you're now doing a medical delivery. You're delivering organs. I failed the rescue mission. Oh well, the organs are. He's still an organ donor.
They're there. They're frozen. They're probably still good. Might as well use them.
They're just a little scorched. It's still good.
It's still good.
Space Mad Explorer asks, what if they can't finish OCS for 3.3? What would then be in 3.3? And what if it isn't completed for 3.4? Would it be 2 patches with ship-only content? And how much would this delay the development?
I
want to preface...
Basically, you're like, well, if all the stoplights turn red today and never turn on again.
I would like to preface this with something. We know that CIG has in the past been terrible. They have had
their fucking statement of the century.
They've been terrible. However, this year they are batting 100%. They have been flawless this year. I'm quite confident in trusting them in OCS right now.
Honestly, that would be saying something that's already 80% complete can't be finished not even 6
3
months,
months.
9 months.
Yeah,
because they're talking about
that.
what if it doesn't even get to 3.4, so that would be 9 months.
Yeah.
That's not. No.
If it didn't get for 3.3, it would just be another 3.1. We'd have our little play space. We'd have another gameplay loop. We probably had some more little ships flying around.
If they would probably identify pretty early that they couldn't make it. They would get all of the gameplay loops in, and they would get all the ships in, and that's what it would be.
Zeus and Oxia saying I would call it flawless if they delivered everything on time and hadn't pushed anything back. I disagree. I think
that's never going to happen.
No, I disagree. I think that one of the benefits of this new system and one of the things that allows them to be flawless and to always give us updates is that they are no longer saying we won't push anything back. They are saying if it's not done, it slips.
They're not doing waterfall development anymore.
And that to me is what we've needed for years. They're doing it fantastically so far this year.
And keep in mind
the major things of each patch, this patch needs this shit. Last patch needed mining, because without mining, what was there in the patch, right?
Yeah, not very much.
They are hitting the big goals of each patch so far. Now, there are only 2 patches in, but 2 for 2. I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful.
Let's not forget that the past 6 years has been leading up to this patch. Like ringed. I'm thinking of that ringed fence. Comment that Chris Roberts threw out like 4 years ago, where he said we're not going to be fixing up the default CryEngine netcode. We're not going to be bandaging that thing up because we're just going to replace it wholesale. So everything network wise is going to be awful. This is the stuff they've been working on for like 4 or 5 years that we're now just getting. Well, they've been slowly drip feeding in the stuff that works over the last few patches. What the OCS, bind culling, server meshing, all that stuff that's coming up that's going to make us an MMO, that stuff's hitting this year. But they've been working on it for a long time.
Like they were talking about object container streaming earlier, and they're like, that patch is in 3.3, but we've been working on it since last year sometime. Like dedicated working on it. Yeah. And if you look at it in the roadmap right now, the overall OCS tab is only, I think, like 2 out of 15 or something like that. But that's just because it's 2 out of 15. But that's because there's a whole bunch of subparts to it but most of the subparts are like 80 to 90% complete.
I will agree with Tilu. They will get OCS in 3.3, but it will break everything. Breaking things is allowed. Don't complain if it breaks shit.
They've been very clear that it will
break everything.
OCS is going to introduce a ton of new bugs.
Oh god. Okay. Next question, because we've only got a half. Jesus, this is going fast. Tom Trustworthy asks, with medical ships, it seems they have beds and there'll be different tiers. Lower tiers will do less, while top tiers will probably allow you to respawn in that better seat. What do you think that tier 3 and tier 2 beds remain normal, but tier 1 beds will take up 2 bed slots, actually. 1 for healing people and 1 to respawn a person. This would make sense why the Cutlass Red would not be a spawn point. They actually kind of covered that when they were talking about the Apollo. So the Apollo has 2 med bays. By default, currently each med bay has 3 beds. So the default Apollo right now that you get has 6 beds. When you up those med bays to tier 2 med bays, they have 2 beds because the tier 2 beds take up more space. And then when you upgrade them to tier 1 beds, they only have 1 bed. So they've already kind of covered that. The better beds just require more room, and it's why the Cutlass Red can only have 1 tier 3 bed to begin with. Sense. It is a small ship. Keep in mind, the Cutlass is it's relatively small. Relatively. It still needs to have some room for cargo in there, and the Cutlass only has that circle portion, right? So they've got to have a med bay. They've got to have some other stuff. They've got to have some cargo. I don't know what else they're going to put in it. They might even put in a drone. So you might have to have like room for the drone and room for the bed, because that's kind of how they were talking about getting people into the beds. So I don't think that the Cutlass Red...
I love that idea.
Of grabbing,
the drone that grabs the person out of space and like sucks them into the... Yeah.
I haven't said this in a while, but seriously, go and watch this week's RTV. It's actually a lot. There's a lot of info on it. Quite frankly,
super cool. Also, this ship is 43 meters long and 43 meters long and 30 meters wide. It's a pretty hefty, medium-sized ship.
It's much longer than the Cutlass, for example.
And much wider, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so
30
Mr.
meters long.
Squarepeg asks, what are your thoughts on Microsoft showing off new hardware at Gamescom next month? I'm excited for the new adaptive controller.
I have no idea what that's about.
I still have a Microsoft brand IntelliMouse I'm using right now.
Really?
Yeah. You don't believe me? Here, I'll show you. These old workhorses.
Is that your like gaming mouse?
Yep. For now, I need to get a new mouse.
Logitech.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Corsair.
Nope.
100%.
Nope.
This.
No, not Razer. Not Razer.
Right here.
Logitech G900.
Gorgeous aluminum
Don't
mouse.
need a
Look
wire.
at that.
G502.
Oh, it's so
Logitech
nice.
G502.
Why is this so 20th century?
Wires are lovely because you don't have to unplug them and shit. Corsair sucks. I dislike their products, and their mice have broken on me within the first year twice in a row. Logitech lasts the longest.
This mouse is like 6 years old, and it's made
I have
out of metal.
I have strong fingers.
Yeah, he's got a grip that won't slip.
I click hard. I click
For a
hard.
good time call.
No, seriously. I've tried all of them. Logitech lasts longest for me. So.
All right, I need to text this quote to a certain someone.
Clip that. Just clip that out of the stream.
Where's Fastcart? Where's Fastcart?
I don't know.
At least you guys have hands. Fastcart, you have hands.
I don't know how to clip shit. Ashley
I do.
asks, what is the first ship that you will buy in the verse?
I'm gonna have to say probably a salvage ship. I think because I don't have one, and I want to do the gameplay for it.
I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need a Cutlass Red or an Apollo. I need something to fill my Endeavor. I need something to go into its hangar bay.
Torpedoes.
Those aren't ships. Those aren't ships.
Oh, wow.
What about
Get a
you,
big enough
Vertigo?
torpedo.
First ship you're gonna buy in verse. What do you think?
Tough question.
I think we've killed him.
Who did we kill?
Vertigo.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm dead.
Oh, okay. You're still there.
I'm dead.
I was confused for a second.
There we go. There I got the clip.
Oh, you were clipping. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
did I have that death stare?
Yes,
get
I
that-
was really
I'm
confused for a minute. Really confused.
I was concentrating. I get that 1,000-yard stare when I'm trying to work. It's just like,
Got it.
So what ship is the first one you're gonna buy in the verse? In the
Me?
game.
In
In
the
the
verse.
game.
Yeah.
probably. Oh, can I get a permit?
Oh, shoot, yes.
Probably another Hornet, maybe a Hornet tracker or something. Would probably be the one of the ships I would want to get. Just I love Anvil. I'm a huge Anvil fanboy. I do plan to get a Hurricane, but that's probably just going to sit in my hangar and collect dust.
That's what my Endeavor's going to do.
It's just gonna be. It's a Hornet. It's an Anvil ship. I have to own all the Anvil ships. So here's my token. Here's my token display model Hurricane.
I will be right
All
back.
right,
Shiver's
you
got
need
the
to
next question.
Post that link quick before your permit runs out.
I did.
Oh, you did? What?
Yeah, I
no,
did.
you didn't. Try
I
again.
did. Okay, I'll post it again. How many of these would you want me to paste?
I don't see it in there. Oh, there we go. Now it's there.
There. Now you can see it. Oh, it called it. Okay, because 30 seconds. Didn't realize it. Didn't see that.
Tilo has asked, where is the multi-tool thing, and can we please tie level 1 of release mechanics with it? It would be nice to avoid the whole need to buy X dollar ship to enjoy the patch and new release stuff.
The multi-tool stuff, we saw that in the single-player demo. They actually used it to unweld something, to cut something up. And you can actually see NPCs wandering around using it in Levski, I believe, and Grim Hex. You'll occasionally see them welding just spots in the walls for no reason.
I think they're still talking about what other bits to add on to it, apart from like the mini arc welder as well. Because
The mini cutter welder, repair, goop gun. You kind of like you just have this canister you throw in for patching up your ship. That kind of stuff. I would like to have like some sort of medical attachment for it for welding up my teammates. I think it would just be really cool.
Yeah, Shiver, why are you so quiet?
Am I quiet? Am I
I think-
quiet?
I think-
Apparently, I'm not.
I think fast cart meant more that you haven't talked very much. Probably just because we're all loud and ranty.
Yes. Where did Erris get off to?
Next question.
Next question. Sure, why not? Let's just move on.
All right, next question.
Ashley wants to know, why would he play with other players if he can buy AI?
Maybe you have a friend you want to show around. Maybe
also,
AI. Go ahead.
Players are supposed to be more talented at doing things than AI.
More versatile.
Prioritization as well.
Yeah.
You can shout at a player, quickly go and fucking fix the fucking airbag before we all fucking suffocate. Whereas AI are notorious for going to the toilet or doing the worst possible things at the worst possible time.
Or
Yep.
AI.
Recently.
You can't use AI to pilot one of your ships, but you can loan one to a player.
This is also true.
Also, it's an MMO. Stands for multiplayer.
Oh my god. We got a lot of questions on
Yeah. So Mr. Squarepeg asks, have you seen the show Who is America? No.
No, not yet.
Nope.
I plan to watch it though.
Ashley asks, is there anything that can stop a hammerhead filled with top tier AI?
Yeah,
Polaris filled with top tier
and
AI.
Erris, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Test.
They'll just,
Oh, that would work.
they'll just ram it.
Yeah. Ashley asks, can a HUD or track IR aim better than a mouse and keyboard? Heads up
Yes,
display.
eye tracking can aim exceptionally
Yes.
well for gimbals. If you can get the head tracking to be accurate enough, you can actually aim your gimbals with your head.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's one of the things.
Someone walks in on you while you're using it. It's
I've
cool.
been waiting a long time, and they stopped supporting it, and they'll probably support it again down the road. But VR,
Yep.
in
Oh, yeah,
VR,
that's
the tracking on a Vive, tracking on a Vive would be able to aim probably better than anything else. It tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you haven't used VR,
It tracks perfectly.
It is perfect.
The next generation of VR helmets is going to have eye tracking as
Yes,
well.
Yep.
they are starting
That
to
is-
work on that.
That's
Yeah.
pretty goddamn good.
That is
Yep.
the huge.
That's more for
revolution
foveated rendering,
VR.
though. It's so that it only it renders where your eyes are looking in higher detail than the rest of it, because
In
your
much higher
eye,
detail,
your
yeah.
eye can only focus on like this big a thing at once. That's all you see in high. Everything else is blurry, so they only have to render that in high. Anyway, that's
That should also make the graphics horsepower you need to run VR go down immensely.
yeah.
Which will be huge because you'll be able to run VR on anything.
Yeah.
So-
Ashley asks, have you tried playing with the Steam controller? Yes.
No.
I haven't. I've tried mouse and keyboard and joystick, but I haven't tried a controller just
What
yet. I
I've-
should try it.
What I've done, I haven't tried playing in Star Citizen with the Steam controller in a long while, actually. But yeah, Steam controller is nice. I like it. Commander Hellfire, how many of you have had issues while getting the Apollo variant, and how many of you got the new ship? I did. All my ships are named after Greek gods like me. I'm not getting it. I decided, I think earlier this year or late last year or something, that I just wasn't going to be buying any more Star Citizen ships. I've put enough money into the game. I kind of want an Apollo. I'll get one in game down the road.
That's kind of my opinion. I look at three things. I look at the price of the ship, how much money I have in the bank, and how much money I've already spent in Star Citizen. And so far, it's always been nope, nope, and nope. I've already spent too much. I don't have the money sitting around to justify the expenditure.
I have
And
a
it's
new
just
house. I want other things. If I was the kind of morally bankrupt, skeevy, ridiculous, completely useless, basically just bad person to ask for a refund, then I would, because I could really use that money. But I'm not
Well,
a
that
terrible
was on the
person.
nose.
There we go. We are now transitioning into the refund.
I'm
story.
not a bad person. I realize that, hey, this was my money. It was my decision to put it into a product without any guarantee of whether or not the product would come out or when it would come out. That was my decision as a responsible adult, as a responsible human being. I made that decision. It's on me. I shouldn't be trying to blame anyone else for my own personal decisions. As much as I would love that money back to spend on things like food and shelter and home insurance.
To be fair, like a refund. Let's talk about just investing in general into an unsure or undetermined
it's
product.
Like stocks.
Yes, not just stocks, but if you're some guy walks up to you, like this is like investment. What do they call it? Where they speculative investment or something.
Like angel investors in venture capitalism.
Venture capitalism, yeah. It's like you go up to somebody and says, I need money to build this cool widget I have. I have this prototype in my hand. It is this cool thing. It's designed to clean earwax out of people's ears, and people will buy it. And then you fuck
that
up
looks
and
like
the company collapses. It is actually a little twist. It's a twisty tie.
Oh, okay.
I needed something to demonstrate a product, and I'm just like, I was playing with this. So I was like, oh, I have a product. You could lose a lot of money in that endeavor. Fortunes have been lost in speculative investments and stuff like venture capitalism.
Actually, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and Star Citizen is not a piggy bank. I watched Montoya's video and I love his opinion on this. Star Citizen is not your fucking piggy bank.
Yep.
It is a business. If you go in and you need a refund, like this guy, he's got MS. Okay. The news was he had $4,500 in Star Citizen. He has MS and he wanted to pull out because one of the gameplay aspects they had was a first-person shooter element, and he figured by the time Star Citizen released, Squadron 42 released, he would not physically be able to play the game. You probably should have considered this fact 6 years ago when you first put your money in.
Fun thing, one of the very earliest stretch goals did include the mention of first-person combat. It's been planned for a shit ton of time. We've all known this. I'm
really excited for the next question. I really genuinely am excited for the next question.
I just wanted to mention one thing quickly because I think it's perfectly in line with what we were talking about there. Famous line from I pay a lot of attention to space these days. Famous line that's been repeated by many entrepreneurs in the space field is, how do you become a millionaire?
You start out with $10 billion.
How do you become a millionaire in space? You start out as a billionaire.
Yeah.
And it's very true. It's been happening a lot in that realm. There's been a lot of money put in by venture capitalists into new space companies. And 90% of them are going to go belly up within the first 5 years.
You know what you guys
and this is why you
know what you should look into? Right. Restaurants.
What's that?
Restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
How many... It's actually a really interesting stat because I think it's something like 70 or 80% of new restaurants go belly up within the first 5 years.
Yeah. And when I was looking to start my own business, back in 2016, I was looking at like retail, selling like games, board games, card games, that kind of stuff out of a brick and mortar shop. And I did a little bit of research in that. It's apparently 80 to 90% of those fail within the first year.
Yep.
They're just a giant waste of money because Amazon. Most people will walk into your store, they'll browse your store, and then they'll walk out and they'll order on Amazon.
Even right now, I go to a Chapters or something. I look at a book, and then I look it up on Amazon. Oh, it's $10 cheaper. Where am I gonna buy it?
And most people, there's a reason why Walmart is a very popular place to shop because the prices. Most people look at the price. They shop at the margins. They want the cheapest price. They don't give a fuck who they're supporting.
Eric.
Okay, we need to move on to the next question.
Yes.
We should stop torturing Shiver.
Sorry, Shiver. Tulu asks, I know some of you don't play a lot, looking at me, apparently. Accurately. But how do you all feel about the current IFCS? I still feel the tiny thrusters have too much oomph compared to the main thrusters, and I wish for a mix between what we have now and more of a World War II modern dogfighting. I play a lot of DCS, and I really miss the weight of things in Star Citizen. Shiver, you've been...
Go for it.
Yes, no, and yes is the TLDR. I totally agree with you that it doesn't feel like you could sit there with your HOTAS and you felt like, you know, you had to move your fucking ship sometimes. You could feel damage and it translated well. But at the same time, I do disagree that the tiny thrusters have too much oomph. I think that they have the right amount of oomph, but it shouldn't be like that. I want to feel like I am moving a fucking 50-ton spaceship, and that has gone. I can't remember which patch exactly it was where you could did slow things down.
I was
and you had to get
2.6,
quite close.
2.5. I think it was 2.5 when
I
when
liked that. I liked
That was
that.
brilliant. You could chase down someone. You had them on their 6, and you had a proper good fight. That was brilliant, and you still felt weighty. Now it does feel like you're a leaf in the fucking wind.
And
I don't want that.
you're going back to my original complaint when we talked about combat was that the ships are just too fast. It's hard to get a good gun sight on somebody because they could just rotate, translate, and just suddenly flip. They're gone. They're out of your gun sights.
Yeah,
and they can perpetually do that
with the if they decouple or I never get it.
decouple.
If they go into Newtonian mode where they just decouple, flip round, shoot you, and they're still flying backward. I got to admit, that's cool. I want
them to have more physical effects on that. Like, yes, you can do it, but you're close to blacking out because your body shouldn't be able to take that.
No, I think they should have some.
I mean, it's accurate though.
I know.
Yeah, it is.
It's like if you are still going the same direction, you spin your spaceship while you're still traveling in that direction. That doesn't really put any impact on your body at all. Like there's no reason for you to black out.
If you spin your ship around, if you spin too fast, yes, you'll black out depending on the center of rotation.
I mean, you just like, but if you just if you're going the same direction and you're still going the same speed, you just decouple and turn around. That wouldn't make you. I mean, it would make feel weird because you're going backwards, but you'd be thrusting. You'd be thrusting. You'd be pushing back into your seat, and you flip around. Then suddenly your seatbelt's catching your shoulder straps are holding you back.
One thing I'd like is more feeling from being hit.
More feedback, yes. Getting
feedback is huge.
Coming under weapons fire inside of a spaceship. Coming under weapons, initially coming under fire from weapon in a spaceship is just super disorienting. You have to be paying attention to your shield display to actually even know you're taking hits. Yeah. Because right now, when your shields get hit the first time, you don't even know it until you get the hull.
It's also something.
Bitch and Betty needs to bitch more.
It's also something I'd like them to do to kind of make physical projectile weapons slightly better too. They impact the ship harder,
or something.
Well, you're in a. I mean, okay, I've got a Mazda 2, which is like the tiniest bloody car. It's nothing, right? And I feel everything in that car, and I'm just driving that car over roads, and I still feel everything. Whereas in a larger car, I feel less, right? I feel like the smaller ships, the one seater,
an M50,
combat M50s, the Hornets, those things, they should feel when they're being hit. Something larger like a Freelancer, not so much. Yeah. And lasers don't really. Lasers.
I don't consider them lasers. Like the Bearing M series laser can. I consider them like they're like the Star Wars blaster rifles. They got some sort of plasma bolt they're throwing at you.
But they're not. They don't have mass. Whereas bullets do actually have mass, and I feel like the bullets hitting you should impact your flight and should show you that you're being hit. Like your ship should.
Tossing someone's ships around because you threw
not tossing,
ordnance.
but like shaking it a bit. I don't know. That
would make that's then you start moving into simulations.
Like What's that? Oh,
days like that. Then you start moving into simulation sickness territory when you start shaking people's views, and that becomes very uncomfortable.
True.
But one of the reasons why they turned everything up, like the reason why the maneuvering thrusters are so tuned up, planets. How the hell are you going to get off a planet if you can't even strafe up a little bit?
Well, how the hell do you get off a planet in a reclaimer right now? Anyway,
you have to strafe up.
I gotta go through these quickly because we've only got 10 minutes left.
Great questions,
and we've got some great ones. So, Bethesda boy, will Star Citizen, Squadron 42, or Starfield come out first? Squadron.
I think Squadron probably will beat Starfield, but not by a lot.
And I think Starfield will beat Star Citizen.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Starfield first.
Ashley, has Logitech done anything with SciTech? Not yet. We have heard exactly zero.
I've heard inklings that Logitech are sending out questionnaires to people and companies and trying to gather some sort of research and looking at something.
We'll see what, though. Mayonnaise 15. With the Squadron 42 info blackout, how do you think Squadron 42 is progressing, and will we get a release date at CitizenCon?
Good and yes.
If we don't get a release date at CitizenCon...
I don't think it's not coming this year.
It's not coming this year, but if we don't get a release window at CitizenCon, if Chris doesn't stand up there and be like, we've said this before, we were wrong.
Release date, just give us a goddamn roadmap.
Here's
I don't
the
care.
roadmap.
I don't need it.
It is launching next year, sometime next year. Fine, go.
They've already said the roadmap will end in a release date.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
that's all I want, roadmap. They've been saying, join the fight, 2012, 2014, 2016, and then they took the date. Then they took the date off.
Yeah.
They learned their lesson on release dates for Squadron 42. I just want a roadmap.
Zeus, I don't want a release date. I want a release window. I want here is the roadmap. We are
quarter
6 months
2019
out.
or something.
We are 6 months out. We hope sometime 2019 is release. That is the window we're giving.
I could just see them taking that comment and then rolling with Squadron 42 coming early 2020s.
Fine. Fine. If the window you're
2020, not 2020, not 2020, 2020. So 2020 to 2029.
That is a window. I am okay. Thank you. Gib Apollo asks, should the tiers be reversed? Tier 1 is minor injury. Tier 3 is near death.
I thought that was kind of weird.
I think it should. I don't like the tier direction they've gone. Tier 1 to tier 3, it moves up.
It's like American wire gauge. The smaller the gauge, the bigger the wire. It's the smaller the gauge, the bigger the wire. It's like gauge 000 is like some of the biggest wire you'll ever see. It's like, why not go the other way?
I hate it.
Not only that, but like the rest of their gameplay, like they've said, like we currently have tier 0 mining. Well, and then tier 3 is like
size 1 weapons to size 3 weapons.
You have a size 3 injury. What does that mean? You got a cut.
Yeah, it's a scrape on my face. No, everything else goes small to large. Why have you flipped it for this one bloody thing?
Just like Erris, everything goes from small to large.
Give Apollo, yes, they should. Okay. Ashley, will medical gameplay be as advanced as Arma? I don't know. I couldn't get into Arma.
Yeah, I haven't played Arma yet, so I couldn't comment on that.
I do think because they've actually got I nearly had it then. Matthew Lightfoot, who worked on the Arma series, actually working on it. So I do think it's going to at least be inspired by a similar system. So I don't think you'll be disappointed. I did love the health. They explained how the health system currently works. So for those of you who wonder why it takes so long to kill someone in Star Marine, they explained it in the new medical shipyard. Yep.
And I am okay with that because there has to be a chance for your limbs to actually get damaged before you're dead.
Yeah.
Ashley, do you expect the Endeavor to grow to support an Apollo? The Endeavor at default should actually support an Apollo. They said it in RTV because the Endeavor was listed as supporting 2 Cutlasses. The Apollo is about the size of 2 Cutlass. It should fit, but by all rights, the Endeavor probably will fit an Apollo, period.
I suspect they may have docking pylons for the Endeavor. The ship's big enough. Like they may be able to just dock next to, like you'd be able to have one of those ring docking mechanisms, just attach a ship to that.
They did also say that the rear hatch for the Apollo does work as a docking collar. So there will be a docking collar. But I think for the Apollo, like as a medical ship, a dedicated medical ship, they'll probably make it fit in the Endeavor. HC Vertigo's son.
Oh, God.
Asks,
here we go. This will be interesting.
Can we hear Papa Erris sing?
Can we?
Only dogs can physically hear it.
It's true.
Well, at least you guys have ears.
Wow, that's really quiet.
Yeah.
All right. Triangularity asks, any news from the Crytek lawsuit? And the answer is no.
Nope. And we probably won't hear anything until it either settles out of court. You'll probably just hear the charges, the lawsuit gets dropped.
Yep.
May quietly get dropped, and that'll be the last we'll ever hear of it because they'll settle out of court.
This is a very good idea. Ashley asks, can you explain OCS for the new folk? OCS stands for Object Container Streaming. What this means is basically currently when you load up Star Citizen's game, like the universe, it loads in basically everything in the universe, which is one of the reasons why it uses so much RAM right now. Mm-hmm. It'll basically use all the RAM you got in your system. And it holds it all in memory, but that's not sustainable long term. They basically can't expand the game anymore without adding object container streaming. So basically what it does is as you're flying towards the location, it loads in the information for that location, but it doesn't always hold that location in memory. And what object containers are basically exactly what they sound like. They are containers that hold objects. So that
boxes and boxes.
Yep, that can be a room. It can be they're nested inside each other. So
like
you can have exactly. So you can have an object container that is the Port All-Star space station, but then it also has object containers that are the individual rooms within it. So that's object container streaming. It basically it'll in the background when you're flying somewhere, it will be streaming in all the information for the location you're going to be arriving at.
But if you can't see inside of it, a constellation will be a box. If you can't see inside that box, you don't need to know what's happening inside of it until you get close enough to be able to see inside of it. Then you'll be able to see the players inside the constellation.
Exactly.
Inside that box. Otherwise, you just see the constellation.
Yep. It makes the game run better, too.
Yep.
Much better.
Idris Carrier asks...
Should make the game run better, and maybe not right away. Sorry, I needed to clarify that.
How much of the tech that CIG develops do you think will end up in the Amazon Lumberyard engine?
Lumberyard engine.
Lumberyard engine.
Free flies with every purpose of Lumberyard.
Yes, it's the theme.
From Prince Roberts, Chris Prince.
We don't
know the details of their agreement with Amazon.
No.
So we don't know.
We have to wait for Amazon to sue RSI before we get the game's licensing agreement for Lumberyard.
No, I mean, what Amazon wanted out of this was a AAA game using their engine and using their servers. Yep. They don't care about Star Citizen, to be honest. What they care is getting other people
the exposure.
Onto their... Yeah. Look,
the advertising.
The biggest
look who we have using our engine.
The biggest game of all time, the most technically advanced and biggest game ever made is using
the most ambitious, I would say.
Our engine. That's what they want.
And not only that, but even if they don't directly include their tech in the Lumberyard engine, they've talked about this before. One of the main ways of making games, and one of the reasons why Star Citizen has taken a long time, is you're like, oh, I want to have an inventory system in my game. So you go look at another game and go, how did they make an inventory system? Okay, that's how they made it. I can make it that way. That's fine. The problem, one of the issues Star Citizens run into is they're like, we want to do this.
How do we do it? No one's ever done this before.
Yeah.
How do we do
it with our network code? No one's done this before.
No one's ever done this before. I mean, people are starting to try and do it because we went and said we're going to do it, but no one's ever done this before.
So one of the things that will be a huge ad for when Star Citizen comes out is future games can go, oh, I want to make gigantic environments that have like an entire planet. You can just wander around the whole planet and it's real sized. And they can go, how did Star Citizen do it? Because they did it. So I should be able to do it too.
Yeah.
There you
go. Ashley, have you considered a transducer system for your gaming chair and or chest? Transducer?
Yes. It's a base shaker. You attach to your desk, whatever, and then when your base hits certain frequencies, it rumbles.
No.
Great. I really want one.
No. I'm okay.
Ashley, do you expect a capital-sized medical ship
We already
that's
have
just a mobile hospital? That's the Endeavor. The Endeavor is nigh on capital size. It
Yeah,
is.
what about if he's talking like Idris size upwards?
The Endeavor is the
Idris
size
and
of
Javelin
Idris.
will have medical facilities. Like the Bengals probably gonna have a full-on hospital in it.
Oh yeah, the Bengal will, but keep in mind the Endeavor and the Idris are basically the same size.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the Endeavor hasn't entered production yet. So it's obviously going to double in size.
I mean, if the UK takes it, it's going to be 3 times bigger, right? So
which they almost certainly will. So it's like, well,
I'm trying to find a good ship comparison image.
Oh, I got one on my hard drive somewhere.
YT on Reddit, I can't remember the rest of his username. Sorry, forgive me. He does a great picture comparison.
Oh, I know he does, but I just need the image now. I don't want to. I'm just trying to.
Let me find it. Star Citizen ships. Where's my ships? There's my ships. And I'll throw the first one I find. I'll throw up into the Discord.
In the Discord. Okay.
Probably not accurate.
Will OCS prevent other players from seeing you quantum jumping all over the place?
we don't know yet.
Shiver, can you
Does it
grab
even have
that
the Endeavor in it?
and throw it in?
Yeah, it does. And there it is.
Does it have the Endeavor?
Yeah, it does. It's hard to see, but it's in there. And that has the correct size Orion too, so it looks like I chose correctly.
Where's the Endeavor?
It's right. It's next. It's near the Carrack. No, it's not. It's next to the 890 jump, right behind the Starfarer, right next to the Hull E.
I'm blind.
Middle of the picture. Look for the Hull E. Look to the right of the Hull E, towards the top. The Endeavor does not look like the Endeavor.
There it is.
Endeavor, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not extended, but yeah. It's the size of an Idris.
Yeah.
Like
it's really thin, but it's the size of an Idris.
But it also doesn't have the pods attached to it that extend out sideways and stuff. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And not only that, it hasn't entered production yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna get bigger. It's like a rule.
I can't put it on screen because of the way Discord. Or wait, I guess I can just grab this. 1 second.
That's essentially the wee hamster. That's essentially the image I linked. That's the one I have.
1 second. Browse to this. Let's put it on screen. If I can. Why is it not viewable? There. Let's resize this. Sorry, everyone. Give me just a second. It's a giant image. I'm just going to keep covering Shiver over and over. I hope you don't mind. You don't.
What are you covering me in?
You wish.
Yeah, this image is massive. I'm probably going to save it myself. The lightning's in there.
It is gigantic. Jeez, this is taking a while. I wish is there a way to like more easily resize this crap? Jesus.
If you're using OBS, you can just click on the element and click transform and then fit to screen or something.
Oh, fit to screen. Yes, you're a genius. Thank you. So basically exactly in the middle of the screen, you can see the Endeavor. It's
just above the Starfarer.
Yeah. Which is the direct middle, and it's about the length of an Idris, which is over there on the bottom left, but it also expands sidewise. Keep in mind that front part actually comes off it. And this might be an older version of it. It's just...
and it hasn't entered production.
Yeah. The Endeavor is huge, it's gigantic, and it is basically almost capital size. So...
And it will be a full-up hospital. It'll be able to do tier 1.
And the Hope will.
Medical.
Other variants will do other things.
Yeah, the Hope, the hospital version.
I do believe, I actually can't remember where they said this, but I do actually believe that it does use capital class...
that would make sense.
Equipment? Components?
Yeah, components. Capital class components. So...
you can also attach... One of the things that's missing from there is you can attach hangar bays onto it where medical ships can land.
Yep.
I think they'll probably size the Apollo such that it can fit inside.
Yeah.
That would only just make sense.
Okay, we have 2 more questions. Let's get through them, and then we'll be able to wrap this up. Ashley asks, do you think that Amazon and CIG will redistribute Star Engine ever?
They most likely will, because I'm sure that part of the licensing agreement is that whatever work that CIG does on Star Engine, that Amazon can have.
I'd imagine that Amazon can market it, and CIG will use that as further revenue down the road. Because
or no, they got a good deal on the engine. CIG got a good deal on licensing Lumberyard, with the idea that they're helping build Lumberyard. Amazon says we'll give you a good deal on the servers and the licensing of the engine.
I don't imagine that CIG paid anything for licensing Lumberyard, because they already paid to license CryEngine. I don't imagine they would pay to license basically the same engine. I think Amazon probably came into that deal and said, look, it's the same engine. Buy our servers from us. Because they used to be on Google, right? They used to be on Google servers.
I can't remember.
So,
yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were on Google. They were on Google.
They switched.
So Amazon probably came up and said, look, we will waive all the licensing fees. We'll give you a discount on our servers. And the two of us will partner on reselling the engine. Come to us for that. Because CIG, they didn't need to change. Lumberyard gets them nothing. Right?
Because basically, the pieces that are Star Engine, basically there are two things that run Star Citizen. There's Lumberyard, and then there's Star Engine, which is basically a whole bunch of modular pieces that they've attached onto the engine.
The only way they were able to do it is that Lumberyard and CryEngine are the same thing. Amazon bought a license to CryEngine and said, we're going to make this our own engine, right? It's why CryEngine are still alive, and it's why they were able to make Hunt, because they were out of money.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, so I don't think, for anyone wondering if CIG paid more to get Lumberyard, I highly doubt it, because it didn't benefit, they would gain nothing from buying another engine because it's the same engine. Anyway, that's what I think anyway. But
next question.
Yes, second last question. Ashley asks, do you think players in Vanduul space might respawn in UEE military ships? Possibly.
No, you're gonna respawn in a Vanduul medical facility.
Yes, a Vanduul prison. Actually, you know what? We should just start in prison, and we just make this an Elder Scrolls game.
There you go. And then
Shiver, did you want to make that?
You hire some.
You beat me to it.
You hire some A-rank voice actor and you kill them within the first 5 minutes.
Exactly.
No!
Let's get Nathan Fillion and let's kill him 3 words in. I am your father.
Exactly.
I don't think you're going to spawn in a UAE military ship in Star Citizen.
Yeah.
If you have the good rep.
I think it might be a benefit of being a citizen as opposed to a
civilian.
Civilian, yes.
How many citizens do you know can go and use an army hospital right now in real life?
If there's a natural disaster.
If there's a pressing emergency, yeah.
Well, it really depends. It really depends. It could be an interesting game. It could be an interesting gameplay mechanic, actually.
Yeah.
I expect Vanduul and unexplored space to be highly lethal. If you die in there, you're probably gonna have to create a new character.
Also, if you're here in Canada, I mean, if the only hospital is a military hospital, they'll just bring you there, and it's free anyway. So why not?
So I guess it's gonna be like one of those. If you want to move into unexplored space, like just an entire system that's unclaimed, unexplored, you better bring your org with you in some endeavors. You have to pack your own stuff in.
Last question. Ball asks, if you exclude the larger and more exclusive ships, which ship do you think will be the most played and owned, and which will be the least played and owned? Variance counts as separate ships. We'll get an answer from everyone, starting with Nakara and going around. Least played and most played.
Most played will be the Aurora MR. The least played will be the Genesis Starliner.
Shiver.
I've got to think of something different now. He stole my bloody answers. Least played Avenger, and most played Origin 300 series. I don't know why.
Vertigo?
I'm going to say Cutlass Black for most played because most ubiquitous. A lot of people there's a lot of missions that support it right now. I'm gonna say least played. Genesis Starliner honestly is pretty high up there on my list. It would probably or the some of the alien ships like the Jean Scout probably be collecting dust in people's hangars. Vandu Blades, Scythe Glaives, Jean Scout.
Most played, the Aurora, the whole series. Least played, the Bengal. Very few people will get to play one of them. I broke the rules, Eric! I break the rules! It's what I do! I'm a rule breaker! You can't control me. You have no power over me. All of you out there, you should come watch me in like 2 hours on the Astropub. Join me! We're gonna drink! We're gonna talk Star Citizen. Things are gonna be crazy! I don't remember what the I think it's Podset. Let me just give me 1 second. Excuse me for a second.
And clip.
It works! Yeah. Look! Right there! There's a link! Join me! Follow AC Vertigo! He's a good guy! Ignore Shiver! Am I yelling too loud?
Are you? What? Pretty much. Rip headphones.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
It was a good show. It was really good to be back.
Ghost is dead now. Thanks. You've just handicapped more people. I mean, it was bad enough. It was bad enough.
I love you all. You're like
aggro knuckle.
You're my best friend.
Canadians.
I love you.
Fucking aggro.
It was nice seeing y'all. I missed you. Thank you to Eric for covering Mellows Gone. HC Vertigo, thank you for being on. It was a pleasure to have you on.
You're very welcome.
Shiver, you know.
Fuck you, Shiver.
Yeah, that's the word. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the verse. Bye. Sorry, I apologize.